What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright, I got another video from Popcross Studios. This is more SCP stuff he does. Alright, this is what if Ben 10 aliens were SCPs. There's a second one of these that popped up not that long ago. I'll be getting to that one eventually. But we're starting off with this one. Alright, so let's see which ones he's done. Alright, and go.
You know, something that I am just constantly hearing from people in the comment sections is, Christian, thank you so much for taking Kirby and drawing him with creepy little human feet.
Yeah.
And for taking
That's
Arceus
Kirby without
and
shoes.
drawing
That
him
is-
with
that-
gross,
I've seen
weird
that's
human
disturbing
lips
as hell.
in your various
But I know there is
SCP
an
videos.
SCP that's
But
just
why
like
have
Kirby
you not done this
already out
with
there.
Ben
Looks
10
like a
aliens?
white
It's
pillow.
been so long since you did a Ben 10 alien episode, and we all just really want to see you take some Ben 10 aliens and make them a bit grosser and weirder
Okay,
looking.
he's making that
well,
one's an
today
SCP.
I
That
have
is such
finally heard
low-hanging
your
fruit, it's
pleas,
not
so
even
we're going
funny,
to take
guys.
some
That
Ben
is
10
just-
aliens
That
and
is just
turn them
too damn
into
easy.
SCPs.
That's even easier
Let's
than
get into it,
Pokemon
shall
as
we?
SCPs.
Let's go. Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone. Today's lecture will be specifically focused on extraterrestrial entities who, we at the Foundation, were able to learn significantly more about after the event, often referred to as the Omni Raid of 05.
Omni Raid?
An event that took place on December 27th, 2005, during which we were finally able to acquire SCP-010,000 from a dangerous group known as the Plumbing Coalition. The device, which they'd referred to as the Omnitrix, is an otherworldly wristwatch that can transform the wearer into a wide array of alien life forms. Many of these we already had specimens of in containment and were simply able to study further thanks to the device. But some contained within it we had never come across before. Regardless, all SCPs that we've learned information about from this device have since been classified or retroactively reclassified under the subcategory SCP-0. With that prerequisite information out of the way, let's get into the first SCP we'll be looking at today. Item number SCP-0011. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. We believe 0011 could be housed in a standard containment cell, ensuring the space is small enough to keep it from gaining any momentum, though thus far the only information we have on this species has been acquired through use of SCP-010,000. So far as we know, there are no members of this species on Earth at this time. Description.
Good.
SCP-0011 appears as a 10-foot tall yellow and white semi-humanoid with no head. Its face appears on its upper torso and somewhat resembles a blend of a human and a hippopotamus. In its regular standing form, the creature seems to have enhanced strength and durability, but the most notable thing about them is the altered form they can take on. The species, which we've classified Arborian Pelorota, has the anomalous ability to curl its body into a sphere, somewhat like a common pillbug, but in this alternate form, 0011 can roll at speeds of up to 130 miles per hour, if given enough room to get momentum. It can even leap off the ground in this form while moving and bounce off objects while maintaining its speed. The yellow armored plating that appears over the majority of its back and shoulders protects it from whatever terrain it may be riding over, and can withstand bullets from even a high-powered sniper rifle. It can also transport objects or even people within itself when wrapped into its spherical shape, though being subjected to this will usually come out of the experience highly nauseous from the rapid rotation. If this species ever does come to Earth, we found the best measure to stop and apprehend them is to use dense adhesive projectiles that can stick them to surfaces and prevent movement.
Clever! Yeah, that is just really disturbing. Looks like a roided up hippo.
Item number SCP-0016. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 0016 is to be held in a cell with titanium copper-laced walls to prevent corrosion and destruction from the entity's projectiles. A specialized food dispensing unit is to be built into its cell to ensure personnel very rarely have to enter its containment. If entry is necessary, the inside of the containment is to be flash frozen to immobilize 0016. The entity will be able to thaw itself out within 10 minutes, so personnel are not permitted to remain inside for longer than that period of time, else risk
Oh, he's giving
being
it
devoured.
pupils on its eyes because he originally doesn't have them.
SCP-0016 is a rotund
frog.
humanoid frog-like creature.
Yeah, frog
It has
eyes.
3 long prehensile tongues that can stretch out 27 feet ahead of it,
Like a graboid.
similar to SCP-G006.
Oh, God.
In fact, this entity has many similarities to G006, though does seem to be significantly less powerful. With that said, it is not a weak being by any stretch. Its tongues are often used to grab objects, animals, or beings to then pull into its mouth and consume, and the array of things it can consume is quite extensive. These creatures, when free to roam about as they please, seem to constantly be eating. They can stretch their mouths and bodies to
They have
devour
one
items
hell
up
of a
to 8
metabolism.
times their size, though items this large will take them some time to digest, and in that period they will be significantly immobile. With no food in its stomach, the creature has proven to be very quick and agile, but this is a rare occurrence as it eats as frequently as it can. Once digested, the food they consume is transformed, partially into nutrients to fuel its body, but also into a highly acidic phlegm that it can then spit great
Gross.
distances to neutralize further prey for consumption. Oddly, it has also shown the ability to make this phlegm explosive. From our
jeez.
time studying its kind using SCP-010,000, or the Omnitrix, we have found that this species controls the matter of the phlegm mentally, but in terms of its physiology, we've yet to understand what its body actually does to differentiate the kind of phlegm created. The Omnitrix has also shown us that
Well, how
there
do you
are
go from
DNA
regular
samples
liquid
of
spit
2
to that really
different
thick
breeds of this
mucousy shit that you can
species,
stretch
one
out and
with
just go
darker, more
and suck it back
desaturated
up?
skin, and
Same
another
thing,
more
same
vibrant
principle.
green in appearance. We are as of yet unclear as to why both breeds were included into the device, as they seem to be the same other than in appearance, but future studies may reveal elsewise, and this log can then be updated with additional information.
Yeah, he definitely made it more frog-like, like as a whole, not just the eyes.
Item number SCP-0412.
Oh, the vampire
Object
thing.
class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. 0412 is to be housed in a standard containment cell with lights dimmed to prevent irritation. Personnel who enter its cell must be wearing full hazmat attire and wear headphones playing calming binaural audio. They are also required to avoid eye contact with the entity. If personnel are subjected to 0412's brainwashing, the cell is to be locked with them inside until the entity chooses to consume them. 1D class personnel is to be placed in its cell once every 2 weeks for it to sustain itself. Description: SCP-0412 is a humanoid vampiric creature standing at 7 feet tall and possessing prehensile feet. The creature primarily feeds on the life energy of living beings,
Oh, he
seeming
changed the
most
feed of it,
interested
like,
in humans,
dramatically.
though it can also consume that of animals. To do this, it will bite into a being's flesh, but instead of drinking their blood, it will absorb their very life essence until they are a withered husk. 0412 can fly, has enhanced strength and speed, and, most importantly, can hypnotize other beings into doing its bidding, often using this to lure prey to itself for consumption. It can hypnotize others by 2 different means. One, simply by looking into their eyes long enough, but the other, faster method is for them to spit a sort of small, rock-like object they create within their stomachs
Ew.
onto the forehead of their prey. These objects act like small transmitters for the being's hypnosis and works instantly, though they can be destroyed to free the victim from the control. It was not known that this entity was extraterrestrial in nature until we acquired the Omnitrix. The specimen of it we had
That's
in
kinda cool
containment
backstory
could
right
speak,
there.
but was never willing to provide us with much useful information about itself. These beings seem to live for about 3 times the length of an average human, and it's believed by the Foundation that there are more specimens of it on Earth, and have been
Chupacabra.
throughout history. It is entirely likely that one of these beings was the original inspiration for the myths of vampires that we know of today, though there are also other SCPs we've studied that could themselves have caused such legends to first
Also
be
true.
made. As with common tales of vampires, these beings have proven to be very weak to sunlight. It will quickly burn and bubble their skin. They have not, however, shown to have any weakness to garlic, as also suggested by vampiric myths.
Man, I probably just came across one that didn't like the smell.
The final SCP we look at today is easily one of the most dangerous we've studied from use of SCP-010,000, and if any sign of it or others of its kind are reported out in the world, a Samsara unit is to be immediately dispatched to its location.
The Samsara unit?
Item
Holy
number
shit, dude, that's a little excessive.
SCP-0010. Object class, Keter. Special containment procedures. If recaptured, 0010 is to be housed in a cell laced with a specialized orange gel that is to be regularly dispensed into the containment. It is a substance our scientists have been developing since the entity's escape that may neutralize its ability to phase through matter, but further trial is needed to prove this. Description: SCP-0010 is a phantasmal entity that we had no knowledge of prior to acquiring the Omnitrix. It initially appeared as a floating semi-humanoid with no legs, withered pale skin, and a single purple eye. Of course, the appearance we know it by now is much more monstrous, with black and white tentacles spilling from its torso, an inverted skull-like head, and long blade-like claws, though its form seems able to transform further, so those charged with seeking its recapture have been instructed to watch out for anything with even a remotely similar appearance to the entity. You see, upon the first use of this creature's form in trials of SCP-010,000, the being was able to separate itself from the wearer of the device and reform into its own individual entity. It then killed the wearer of the Omnitrix and tried to steal it. But luckily, the device seems to be the one item that the being can't phase. The entity was quickly attacked by every weapon and guard available, but it went on a rampage through the facility, possessing the guards one by one and making them shoot themselves. It tried taking the Omnitrix out of the facility by carrying it to the exits, but the base was locked down and it was unable to transport it off premises. Eventually, the entity fled the facility, and we've been attempting to track it down ever since. We have had many reports of mass killings that were described as being enacted by an entity similar to 0010 since its escape, but if it has been the one undertaking these massacres, it has always fled prior to Foundation personnel arrival. As of yet, we have no understanding of the entity's motives or desires, other than the fact that it had initially tried to steal the Omnitrix. Recapture is a top priority, and we may soon have to resort to sending an agent after it while wearing the Omnitrix to give them an advantage that may be necessary for its capture. On that note, we conclude our lecture for today. As always, please log recommendations for future lecture subjects in the comment section below.
As an SCP, like I said, it is super low-hanging fruit, but that looks badass. The blood and everything, that is so cool.
You know, I gotta admit, it was actually kind of difficult trying to make Ghost Freak freakier looking.
Yeah.
He's already pretty gross looking as it is. But overall, I'm super happy with how all of this came together, and weirdly enough, I think my favorite one was actually Hippopotamus Cannonbolt. Hippo mouths are really weird looking, but quite fun to draw. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to see more SCP stuff, I would recommend checking out my Pokemon as SCP series. Got like 6 episodes of that, and there's probably going to be another one of those eventually, but first I'm thinking probably another episode of this. I mean, I feel like at the end of a video, anytime I say, hey, this video that you just watched might get a sequel, only tends to happen about 20-30% of the time, but I mean, Ben 10 Aliens, SCPs, that feels like a pretty safe bet of a combination that will do well enough to justify doing a sequel. So what other Ben 10 Aliens do you want to see as SCPs? Let me know in the comments.
We'll see that one in another video.
Besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or uplifting note. And the thought I want to leave people with today is a quote from Plato. The person, not the mushy kids toy kind of thing.
Play-Doh.
And that is that reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our minds. I feel like I've probably said a few variations of that as the ending quote of the video, but I just really like that sentiment in any way it's said. Hope that's helpful to someone out there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday.
That's not to say you can't change reality, but reality is what reality is. What you imagine it to be or consider it to be, that has no bearing on what it actually is. You need to accept it so you can move on and then do something else, or do something that you can do to change it. You need to accept reality, not try to pretend that it's something else. That's not I don't know if unless that's not exactly what Plato meant, but I don't know. It just seems kind of dumb to me. Anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed that. I did. Like this video, subscribe. Definitely click on the link to the original down in the description. Get down to Popcross Studios channel, like the original, and sub to him. He's got some good shit, man. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Once again, here on my main channel, and on my old main channel, and don't forget to check out my shorts channel. Link in the description. I'm trying to update there every day, and there's also my game channel, which is still doing the stuff of Rick May, and that's updating every day too. So I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye bye.